All right, hey, how y'all doing? Back again, another episode of The It Factor. As always, I'm your host, Jeremy Robinson, and today we have someone special. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Sydney Rosant. I'm a content creator, podcaster, and college student.
Got you. So with that, how are you doing mentally, physically, and emotionally?
I'm okay. It's midterms right now, so there's just a lot going on. Just like balancing working part-time, doing like the creative stuff, keeping up with myself mentally and physically, and school. It is a lot to balance, but I try to, do at least one thing every day that's good for me, like self-care wise, and like just, try to stay as organized as I can.
Got you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're doing the right thing. It's all gonna pay off. So hey, it is what it
Wait,
is.
can you give me 1 second? Let me close my window because I'm having trouble hearing you. Give me a sec.
All right.
Okay, sorry, it's much better now.
All right, good. You hear me now?
Yes.
But yeah, so with that I say, what led you to the digital creation space in the way that you do it?
Um, I think that like when I was introduced to podcasts, like they had such a positive impact on my personal life.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is kind of something I want to do. Like, given how it's affected me, like I can only imagine what I could do for others.
Mhm.
So a lot of the times, like the messages that I have in my content, it's basically what I wish somebody would have told me.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Oh, no worries. Do you need me to repeat what I said, or did you get that?
Yeah, if you could repeat, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So basically, like, when I first started listening to podcasts consistently, a lot of the content creators that I was listening to, they were always giving like just very good advice, and like the transparency and the insight that they would give was always very valuable.
Mm.
And so I was like, this is kind of something that I want to do, given how it's impacted me. So oftentimes, like my message is stuff that I need to hear. It's almost like affirmations that I have to tell myself as well.
Got you. So in there, I say, what is your it factor then? Why you do what you do?
I would say for that reason, like I want to, it's like half of it is because it helps me, right? It's a reminder of like, this is the person that I want to be.
Mhm.
And then I think it also helps others as well to kind of like see somebody going through that process of like, figuring it out and, taking, personal accountability, being okay with taking L's, things of that nature. Like these are things that I need to hear. And I think that if I need to hear it, then everybody else needs to hear it too.
Indeed, indeed, and I like that because I even seeing some of your topics, like I wrote down two of them, and I was like, hey, I gotta ask her. So like, why do you think people use attention as currency? Like, been seeing the list of places you can't take people and all this when you're dating. I was like, I wonder what she would think about this because
Hmm.
I don't even I can't even imagine where I would be. I'm married now, wife, dated
Hmm.
for years, and I'm like, we done went to all these places and I ain't have no problem. Granted, I know she's right with
Right,
me, but
right.
still,
Mhm.
I just want to know why you think people use attention as a currency and like why you think that's a thing.
I think that like social media popularity is very accessible for people now,
Mhm.
right? So it takes one crazy post for you to go viral, and everybody can you become automatically like recognizable.
Mhm.
So I think people just leverage that, right? And they say really crazy outlandish things. I saw the list that you're referring to. There's a lot of regular like activities that people engage in, like bowling. I'm like, bowling is like a standard. You can't go wrong with bowling, but all of a sudden bowling is a problem. It's
Uh-huh.
not actually a problem. It's just that like this is something that like whoever created the list knew that like, oh, this is gonna rile people up, this is gonna really make them mad.
Mhm.
So like they're just using that attention. Like I don't know if they're making money from this. I'm not sure, but I think that the attention itself has some form of value. So that's why I called it currency, right? Because like you're doing so much to get it that like it has to be worth something to you intrinsically, even if it doesn't translate to money automatically.
Definitely. I like that. And I also I would say what sparks you to speak on the controversial topics or like current topics that's going on. Like you're great at doing that, by the way. So
Thank you.
what
Thank
makes
you.
you want to do that?
Um, I would say I think the majority of us on social media are bystanders, right? We just sort of watch and we're like, I don't like that. And then we like comment maybe, and then we move on.
Right.
And I've always felt like while I was a bystander, that like, I think there's more people like me than there are like y'all. Like, I think we're in the majority, right? I just have this belief. I don't have any metrics necessarily, but I just feel like there's more normal people out there than there are crazy, right? And
Indeed.
so when I create my content, it's like, I am appealing to the people who don't have the time to create the content themselves or don't have the desire to create the content themselves, but are thinking that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like there's more people that just that resonate with me than y'all, the ones doing the nonsense. And I feel like it just takes somebody to create it. So I was like, why not me? I already have like a passion for it.
Definitely, definitely. I would say that's also why I do my podcast. And people like, man, this is season 5 now. I've been doing it for some years now. Got some skin in the game, and I like doing it because it's positive. But
Mm-hmm.
I could do this even when you reschedule stuff like that. Most people like, dang, she rescheduled. Oh man, I'm gonna be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. We're gonna still shoot it. All right, good. I'm good
Right.
because I
Right.
like doing it, and I like
Mm-hmm.
the messages that I get from people, man. And this is what I think people should hear
Right.
instead of all like you saying all the crazy stuff and different things like that. So with that, I see you play basketball, and it look like
Yes.
you're good at playing basketball. How long you been playing basketball? Do you play basketball now, and like how does basketball fit into everything?
So I've been playing basketball since I was 4, so like 18 years now. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I just always had an affinity for it. I loved watching it. I loved playing it. I had one of those like kitty hoops in
Mm,
my garage that my dad got me, and I would just shoot all day long. Dwayne Wade was like one of my favorite players growing up. So like I would go watch his game and then like go out into the garage and try to copy what he did and stuff like that. And so that led to me playing Division 1 basketball for one season, and then COVID hit. And COVID, just sort of ruined it just threw everything all out of whack.
uh-huh.
And then when I came back, we had a new coach. Didn't work out, unfortunately. So I ended up just, leaving the team, just being like a regular student. But basketball will always be an important part of my life, even though I don't play every day. Like I really just play like pick up and get shots up from time to time. Cause it's a great, I mean, basketball's a great form of cardio, great form of cardio. Because like you get real runs in and you're not even like really feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like being on the treadmill. So I kind of use basketball for that. But I will always love what the game has done for me and the doors it's opened for me.
That's dope. That's dope. And with that, I say, how has it been being in college? Are you still in undergrad or going? You in your master's programs now? What are you
I'm
doing?
an undergrad right now, so I'm a senior.
Okay, cool. Okay, senior. All right, about to graduate. It's lit.
Almost
What's
done.
your major?
Poli sci.
Okay, okay. Now, what we about to do with that? Like, what we about to make it happen?
Well, right now I've been working like in marketing primarily. So like the current job I'm in, it kind of intersects with poli sci, but I'm not the type of person that likes to be tied down to things.
Yeah,
So I was kind of able to use what I do for like social media, like for myself, like as a passion, leverage that sort of into a career path for myself.
I
But
like it.
like people will ask me like, oh, do you ever want to run for office? All these different things. Like I don't know. Like we'll
Mhm.
see where things take me.
Definitely, that I like that. I like that. When I see your content, I think of the young lady that do parking lot pimping, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Gonna be
Mm-hmm.
her."
What's her name? Is it Lene? Is it
Yeah,
Lene?
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "It's gonna be her." I done reached out
She's
to her. Yo,
fantastic.
she's so busy. I'll be like, "Yeah, you got. I'm gonna give you one of these days." But I like where she's going. I was seeing your stuff. I was like, I like what you're doing because it's not only changing the narrative, but just y'all black women just so amazing. Like when y'all do
Thank
stuff,
you.
man,
Thank you.
so amazing. So with
You're doing your thing too now.
that, man, I'm
You
out
representing
here.
too.
I'm out here.
You got to give you credit.
Thank you. So what I say, who is Sydney outside of what you are known for?
Sydney is very chill. I think people expect me to be like super outgoing and like stuff like that because I post. I'm not. I'm really not that outgoing. I be minding my business, like just honestly just be like hanging out with my boyfriend, going to the gym. Like I'm very routine based. From time to time, like I hang out and like have like little streaks of like me being like social, but like for the most part, I really just keep to myself and just chill.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, look, chilling keep you a long way. Get you a long
Right?
way.
Right.
What are some of your short term goals? With you being now that I know you're a senior and you're about to graduate and step out into the world with your great content that you do, and just some short term goals with your life. Like, what are some that you're looking forward to?
Well, graduating, that's like the
Mhm.
immediate short-term goal. I do plan on getting my master's, so that's another short-term goal. And then as far as content creation goes, I think one of my goals, and this is kind of a part of it, is just meeting other content creators, right? Like all over the country, just trying to network and I don't know, just build a community. I think of people who are doing what I'm doing for
Mhm.
a long time. Like a lot of my friends were friends from like proximity. Like we just happened to have a class together. We just happened to play basketball together. But
Mhm.
I want friends and community that I went out and picked. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Like
kind of
that.
thing.
I like that. Definitely. I feel like college do that for you, but also being in the content world, me being a podcaster, that's literally how I find people now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had some people that I interviewed that in part of my network, even when I got ready to write my book about my podcast, people was like, "Oh yeah, I love to help you, man. I love what you're doing." It kind of surprised me at first. I was like, "Dang!" But I made sure that I stay in touch with everybody I interview. In
Mm-hmm.
some form, way of fashion, I try to do that. So definitely, I say keep doing what you're doing because that's definitely what you want to happen. It's gonna definitely happen. So why is it important then to not let judgment stop you, like being judged, different things like that?
Because like you miss out on so many experiences when you think about how other people are gonna react to whatever it is that you're doing. Like you will miss out. So you have no idea like what your potential is if you don't try.
Mhm.
And like what a shame it is for all the people who don't try because of what other people might think. Right. Like you don't even know what they're going to think, but like it's your own, maybe it's insecurities, maybe it's some form of imposter syndrome that's telling you people aren't going to like it. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily the case. Like you have no idea how you'll impact people.
Mhm.
So, judgment is judgment. It's either going to be bad or it's going to be good. And you just have to keep going.
Indeed, indeed. I would say I've been hearing that with the imposter syndrome or like, oh, people do this or this happened. And I was like, it's like, man, how you keep going? I'm like, I don't care what people think.
Right.
What? I'm gonna put it out. You can like it, you don't like it, whatever. But it's gonna come
Right.
a day that you're gonna be like, he really interviewed this person. I can't believe he. And every time that happens, I'm like, yeah, you like the stuff now, don't you? Oh yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
follow me over here, and I keep
Mm-hmm.
going. I'm not gonna be mad at you or anything. So
Right.
I tell everybody, just do it. You never know. Outdo yourself. Don't try to
Mm-hmm.
outdo anyone else, and don't let no one else tell you what they're gonna. Oh, they don't look right. This don't. They gonna keep doing that because they wouldn't probably do it for themselves.
Right.
So yeah,
Exactly.
man. With that said, also, what's something you would like to see change in the Black community? What's something you would
Oh,
like?
that's a loaded question. um, I think I want people in the Black community to stop looking at each other through like this framework of us being a monolith, right? I think we need to start acknowledging that Black people have individual experiences that are different.
Mhm,
So our perspectives are going to be different.
mhm.
And I think that once we come to terms with that, I think it'll be easier to have conversation, right? Because now I'm not going to be upset at you for having a different perspective. I'm just going to try to figure out why. And
Right.
then we can move forward. I think that like we can't have conversations because we're upset that people aren't thinking the exact same way as us. And that's the problem.
Definitely, you're right about that. I get that all the time. You have different conversation with people, and like in sports, you play basketball, I play
Mhm.
football. That makes sense. Like to have disagreement,
Mhm.
sport makes sense. But like
Right.
certain things in life is like, okay, you're gonna have everything. Okay, you're gonna have your disagreement stuff like that. But what doesn't get me is when people like, I can't be your friend anymore. I can't do this no more. I can't. And it's like, why? Because we got a different opinion. Like we feel
Right.
different. So definitely, I think that's good. I like that, man. I love asking that question randomly sometimes
Mhm.
for the podcast because I always get something different. But
Right.
before we do close, I'll say, what would you like to see your content grow into?
Um, I think like
Out here.
I want something that is like a real show, like a talk showy type thing. I don't care what platform it's on,
Uh-huh.
but I think that's what I want it to grow into, whether it's produced. I think for me, I would like for it to be produced by me.
Hmm.
So we're just slowly but surely building towards something that resembles that. I think you're like the first person who really asked me that question. But yeah, so that I would say that's like that's like like how you have like a dream for what it's going to be like, that faraway dream that like you're literally just inching towards it, like each year you're taking a couple more steps to get there. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'll give you a piece of see since you're a part of the A Factor Network now, and you
Okay, bet
email,
bet.
text me, and all these good things, and the Rolodex has got big to where it's common people, working day people, and then it's also engineers, doctors, lawyers, people in the NFL, NBA. I can go down a whole list of WNBA to be soon, so that's gonna be beautiful.
Okay, okay.
With that all being said, they all people at the end of the day. And doing this podcast, I have been learning that like it ain't nothing to help somebody else. So I
Hmm.
definitely say, yeah, I would love to have a TV show. I know people ask me that all the time, like, hey man, what you gonna do next? Or this son, like you said, I'm just a couple steps away from this happening, is
Right.
but when it happens, I'm just like, hey, how can I help somebody else? So I think I know
Hmm.
the right thing. So before we do close, I'll say, do you have any questions for me?
I guess for you, how do you keep going? You've been doing this for 5 seasons, and the majority of people who start like this sort of endeavor, like at some point, like they just either burn out or they just stop. So, like, how do you keep going?
Well, I say one, the way I started, like I started off at my apartment, like had the mattress in the back, had another guy co-host for 2 episodes, and then he was like,
Hmm.
"Yeah, I can't do it because you
Hmm.
involved in this son." So I'm like, "All right, cool." But I had a friend, man, and still have a friend that does all my editing, does everything. Like we have different meetings, things that nature, and that has grew to my wife's best friend, which is my friend now that helps me as a business admin, and other people just to have with shooting and different things like that. Me being taking a role and being in the producer role. The way you keep it going is building out a team. You build
Hmm.
a team and you mold them. As I got the it factor going, I actually try to talk to them about the things that they're doing. Because if they're
Hmm.
growing, it's going to help me even get better. So seeing how I
Right.
can come to me every time, but see how I can come and say, okay, we can make this little change over here. Okay, we can do this. And what has I've been noticing is focusing on keeping consistency of the podcast. Like I like
Hmm.
to have episodes. People always hit me up like, "Hey man, when that episode come out?" And I'm like, I can't wait till one day they be like, "Oh, he interviewed like 30 some people before me." Oh, it makes sense that it
Hmm.
come out into a few months later. And what I learned
Hmm.
from my friend was constant is king. I mean, what is it? Consistency is king. So if you got all that
Hmm.
content and everything, nothing ever gonna fail. And also in doing that, I have been able to travel. I have been able to do shoots outside of leaving Atlanta and going to go do it at other people places or even rent out a place. So just even doing that has made me every year. I'm like, okay, we got to outdo ourselves. Like I was saying earlier,
Hmm.
I try to outdo Jeremy, man. So that's what kept me good. And just praying about it and penning the work and just staying in keen with it actually helps me. And I like doing it. So that's one of the biggest things I would say. So long answer, but true results. Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think I definitely feel you, because for me right now, doing it by myself,
Mhm.
it makes it harder to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing the editing, when you're doing the promotion, when you're doing the business admin, when you're like
Yeah.
when you're every person, like it's a lot. And I
Mhm.
think I had a similar thing where I started out with my friend doing it and loved my friend, but the consistency wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the part for me of like finding the community is like I got to go out and find people who are actually down to do something like this.
Definitely.
And a lot of people my age, we're just juggling so much
Mhm.
that like they're not going to want to sit down for like an hour to edit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that might be too tedious. But I think that like that is why I need that community, because I need people who know what it is, know how to
Mhm.
do it.
Definitely. And I got your back in it. Like my guy that does mine, man, he been doing my editing for years. He does editing. He actually building out a website now to get out to help people like yourself, like have editors. Because at the end of the day, I just now have learned how to edit because of him. And I'm like, okay, let me
Oh
do this
wow.
real quick. And I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me send this to him, see how he look. And he's like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
you're a producer, man. Go ahead. We got it, cool. But I'm thankful I have someone like that because he told me the other day, he was like, we had a meeting. He was like, bro, you keep my business afloat, believe it or not. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, cool, thank you, man. And he has a million other things he do. But what I have learned about people are interesting when it comes to that, oh, I'm busy, I'm all over the place. People make time for what they need and what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been blessed to have those people around me and say, okay, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I see Jeremy pouring back into me too. Okay, cool. And that was what made
Mm-hmm.
my team. So the same thing gonna happen with you. And now you got me to call out like, hey Jeremy, how did
Right.
you do this? Or,
Right.
hey, I seen you did
Right.
this on the page. How you did that? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what it's all about at the end of the day. So definitely, I'm thankful for this episode because when I see your content, I see every person that I interview, I see a piece of me. And I'm like, man, I can see how I can not only help them, but we can help each other grow. So definitely,
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
indeed. Any other questions?
That was my primary one because you said you had 5 seasons. I was like, 5 seasons is not easy.
No,
5 seasons is not easy.
yeah, man, it's a roller coaster. But like, I tell you this, one last thing, not to hold you up, man. The thing is, the seasons go by so fast. I make them out my birthday. My birthday, October 16th. So I try to like around that time. I try to be like, all right,
Oh, well,
we're gonna
happy
start.
belated.
Thank you. We start dropping out stuff. Okay, we're gonna do this, and I try not to do any interviews. And what I have learned
Mhm.
is, as you do them, you start being like, you know what? Okay, cool. I'm gonna get better next time. Okay, good. And it flies by. I'm trying to tell you, see,
Right.
it flies by, and you get better and better. That's the thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So just keep believing and doing what you're doing, and it's all you're gonna look back and be like, man, it's been 10 years I've been doing this. Oh man, I can't even believe. So definitely,
Right. Right.
definitely. But thank you for the day. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And if you ever need anything, definitely reach out. I'm definitely gonna be reaching out to you because I love
I
you.
will. I definitely will. Thank you so much for having me on your platform.
Indeed. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bet.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.